Hi guys. Welcome. We're tuning in today because we can.
Better black, not better black. Can you tell the difference? Quality.
Better black. American black.
Alright, so today, as the topic says, we're going to be sharing a new way that we learn to
How to
talk.
communicate.
Yes, how to communicate.
Verbally.
There is a proverb, I think,
Cool.
that says, "He who has a friend needs no mirror,"
Profound.
which is quite profound.
Actually.
Because it basically means that if a person is your friend, the person should be able to assess you and tell you, this is really amazing about you, this looks beautiful, this is amazing. But also the things that are not quite adjusted about you, things that are not quite good about you, your friend should also be able to tell you, your mouth smells, your attitude is bad.
Yeah, like we tell each other that early in the morning when we wake up.
Every morning, and she tries to kiss me. I'm like, God, David, that is very stinky.
Or if I'm watching a movie and I'm like this.
And he's like, I'm like, David, come bath now. Yeah. So, and apart from the normal just mouth smell, your hair is full or whatever.
Are you saying my hair is full?
I'm not saying your hair is full. I love your hair. You should also be able to talk about other things.
Deeper things.
Yeah, deeper things to your friend. But the reason, and especially in marriage, if you are everybody says they want to get married to their friend. So that means, apart from you guys being able to
Bonds
have ice
and
cream
flex.
together, dance together in videos, not be ashamed of, I don't know what, just to be cool with each other and laugh with each other, you should also be able to have hard conversations with each other. Not just to be on the receiving side, but to be on the side that says, this, I didn't like this. I felt bad about this. I think that this, things that are not necessarily rosy.
Exactly.
Because you guys are friends. So that is why I think that some people in marriages are not friends with each other, because confrontation is just not easy.
No for them.
Yes, it's not easy. And confrontation is, and I think it's because we have a wrong idea of what confrontation means. We think that when you're confrontation, you're already like,
it has to be
angry. Yes, you have to be like, you're very mad, throwing things around the house. How dare you say that to me? It's already so dramatic. And there's probably movies, there's probably culture, there's probably growing up. You've seen different kinds of confrontation, and you already just like, you're like, I don't want any form of confrontation. I'm fine. You're okay, whatever. Even if what you're doing is irritating me, all the best. But like we said earlier, it won't help for growth. And so today we're going to be talking about how to have loving confrontations, because now we've agreed that confrontations are necessary, so they have to be loving for them to be
effective.
For them to be effective. Yes.
Right, so we're going to give a few tips on how to make your confrontation loving, right? And the first thing on the list is to check your motivation. What is motivating that conversation? What is motivating how you're talking, right? And one of the very important things to help you check your motivation will be prayer. When you pray, because this sounds like a small thing, but sometimes it can actually become a big conversation, and you want to pray about it and be sure that you are not motivated by selfishness or ego or jealousy or anger or anything that is not good, right? So check your motivation. What I'm saying, will it help her, right? What I'm saying, will it heal her? What I'm saying, will it help her grow? Am I saying it for the right reasons? Am I saying it to help her better? Or am I saying it to make her feel bad? Am I saying it to help her understand what is happening? Or am I saying it to make her feel like she's not good enough or she's not being right? So like that motivation is important, because it's the beginning of everything for that conversation.
Next thing would be to check your attitude. So it's good that you have your motivation in check. Let's say the reason I'm about to confront this person, the reason I'm about to point this out is because I actually want to help them. Once again, communication is not just what you say, it's how it's heard. So you have to have that attitude of right motivation. Like, the reason I'm saying this is because I want us to be better, I want us to be stronger, I want you to be better, I want you to be stronger. So how you say it matters. So let's say if I wanted him to throw away a particular shoe or stop wearing a particular shoe, right? And he's like, I like the shoe, I think the shoe is perfect. And I'm like, no, but the shoe isn't. There is a way that I can come about it and say, what's even your problem? Don't you even know anything about fashion? Blah 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 blah. Come on, would you throw that shoe away? Or I mean, I don't even know how to talk like that, but let me see. That's when I'm talking to a child. Let's try to see how a wife will talk to a husband. I don't know. However, it will be that will make the person feel small, make the person not even see your motivation that it was that is right. The person is not even saying. The person just feels so judged. Yes.
And it's important because your motivation will determine your attitude.
Yes.
Eventually.
Yes. Actually.
And there's a story that can relate to. So there was a time when we were dating, and Boro was applying for jobs, and she saw this job offer that was abroad, and she's like, "Oh, so what if I get this job abroad, right?" And my defenses flew up immediately because I don't think my mind, I don't have any relation to abroad. I just want to be in Nigeria and all of that, right? And immediately I already felt like she was trying to tell me that I'm not sure we can work together because my head is abroad and you in this country.
No, funny,
right?
that wasn't it.
No, I'm just saying, like, in my mind.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those are one of the things that...
Yeah, for me, I think for him, it was just like, for you to even consider...
Yes, yeah, like, why would you even consider
I was
that?
like, why can't we even talk about it?
Do you understand?
Because
so,
that
like,
can be a possibility.
Yeah, the attitude was already bad before the conversation even started.
Yes.
Do you get? So, that's a negative
because
attitude.
The motivation was already flawed.
Yes, the motivation was already flawed.
Because it was selfish. It was just.
Do you get?
I have never thought about this. Don't let me come out of my comfort zone and think
understand?
About this. Yeah.
So, your motivation determines your attitude, right? And then check the circumstances. That's the third thing. What is the circumstances around how you want to say what you want to say, or when you want to say what you want to say? For example, if you're having a conversation about something that you know is going to be difficult, you don't want to have that conversation in the wrong circumstances. You don't want to have that conversation maybe where there are people, or where it just doesn't feel right. There's some level of gumption or some level of sensibility and empathy that should drive where you have that conversation.
Yeah.
You want to have that conversation in a place that's comfortable enough for you to both be vulnerable, right? And for the person not to feel defensive immediately.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Instead of having conversations that will just lead nowhere because the conversation was at the wrong place. Right?
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yes, and also it's important to check other pressures. So, for instance, like the person may have behaved in a certain way. Number one, the person may have behaved in a certain way because there were just many things that were happening at once, or the person may not even be predisposed to welcoming your confrontation at that moment. Let's say, for instance, you already have children, and one child is sick, throwing up, another child is this, throwing up, one child is flying all over the bed, and you're trying to keep it together, and maybe the other person comes home and sees that the house is in a mess. And let's say genuinely the person, like maybe you guys were going to have a guest over in the next 30 minutes and the house is a mess, and genuinely you should talk about it and say, oh, what happened, why was the house in a mess, and stuff like that. But you also have to consider that I can see that there's one child throwing up. I can see that this, I can see that, right? Maybe not the time to talk about it. Maybe I shouldn't even talk about it at all. Maybe I should just forget about it and talk about it later. Maybe if you need to talk about it for yourself, then maybe say later on, like he said, the right place. Maybe after the meeting, after whatever, you now sit down and you're like, how was your day, right? That's also the attitude. See, I'm starting off with, how was your day? I saw that this child was sick. You know, when did that start? How did it happen? How come you didn't call me? I'm so sorry I wasn't there to help you. When you already start off like that, that's already, person doesn't feel like they need to defend anything. They're just like, yeah, it was this, it was that. Then you can now say, when I came in and I saw that the house was dirty, I was a little bit taken aback, right? And then if you think that there were ways that they could have managed their time better in the day, then you can say, maybe instead of doing this and this that day, maybe next time you can just do this and this. Do you get? So that's already loving conversation. You've confronted them on that issue, but you didn't just walk in and say, how come this house is so dirty? Oh my God, don't you know that we're going to have a meeting today? What's going on here? Do you understand? So yeah, that's another thing.
And a practical example is one time when something happened and I was like somebody I was working with, right, spoke to me very harshly about work I did, and the feedback wasn't great.
Yeah, and it wasn't unjustified. The feedback was correct, right? But it was not feedback. Like, as much as we like to receive feedback, nobody wants to hear that they're doing poorly about something. So the person had given him feedback, and I agreed with the person because, like, rationally, I agreed that, I mean, the person gave logical feedback like this and this and this, we shouldn't have done this. But David was already feeling down at that point, but I wasn't sensitive enough. I was like, actually, yeah, you know that the person is right? That was really harsh. And I said that, and it even justified. And again, because I'm his wife, do you get, other people can say, like, it hurts more when it's closer home. Yeah, so I shouldn't have done that then. I should have waited. Do you get? He has already received that feedback. So my feedback will not add anything if I'm just agreeing with the person. Do you get? Except I was preferring a solution and I was doing it with love. So, and I think also it was coming from a selfish place because I'm very pro excellent work, never make a mistake, blah, 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 even though I make mistakes myself. Do you get? So when the person was speaking and saying this was what went wrong, I could relate to the person and be like, in that moment I wasn't even like a wife. I was like, imagine I was the one giving this person this job. This is the same thing I would say. So I was quick to say, actually the person is right. You know, like, yeah. And that was really bad, and that really hurt, and I had to. It took that, and that's taking away time for love. You're missing opportunities to show love and opportunities to show that you are there, to show that I'm your friend, no matter what the world, whatever happens in the world, you're taking away some safeness from the space that you guys have. Yeah.
Lastly, be sure that you are ready to receive it as well as you're ready to give it. Right? So when you want to give confrontation, and when I say give confrontation, don't forget that it doesn't have to be bad in the sense that you are rash about it.
Yes.
It just means that you want to give feedback constructively and from a place of love.
Yes.
So when you are giving feedback, no matter how lovingly you say it, the person might feel sad.
Yes.
Maybe even if it's one tiny bit, because of course the person doesn't want to feel like he's the reason why you're sad. But for whatever reason, once you're able to give feedback lovingly, carefully, with the right attitude, the right motivation, at the right circumstances, and at the right time, be sure that you are also ready to receive confrontation
So
or feedback.
Yes, sorry to cut you. So I'll give an example like I gave. Imagine the same scenario where let's say you're the husband, you step into the house, you left your wife at home all day. The house was not even as scattered as you left, as you are now meeting it, and you guys are hosting people in the next 30 minutes. Maybe, yeah, and you saw all of that. And let's say you even wait, you do the whole loving confrontation thing. You see, how was your day? This. I really thought that if you had managed like your time better, seeing as you saw a movie for 12 hours and something, you should be ready. If your wife should say, how can see what you're even asking me?
No, but she won't say it like that.
Okay, sorry.
Well,
I'm angry on behalf of her because of what I'm about to say.
So that's a natural reaction, yeah. So it requires a lot of training actually to not reply that way.
Yes, actually it requires a lot of training to speak that way and to not reply
that way.
Yes. So imagine the wife says, thank you for just talking to me about it now. I appreciate that you waited till this moment. This is so stressful.
Another thing is the fact that she might not even notice that you are being lovely. Yeah, she might not notice that. Actually, and that can be painful because you don't know the effort it took me to actually wait and not blow up at that point. Right? So she might not even mention it. Yes. And that will already pain you. Yes. But it will not change.
So whether she mentions it or not, she then, let's fast forward to the part where she gives you back and says, you asked me like why everywhere was scattered when the child, you didn't call me throughout today. You didn't check up on me. You may have been busy, but it's another confrontation that she's bringing. You didn't check up on me, even when I sent you a message and I said that our child.
This is not good confrontation. Actually,
it's not
because
you. Exactly. So we're coming to what a good confrontation looks like.
Yeah.
So she may say also that I'm sorry that I made you feel this way. I also feel sad because today I felt like you didn't pay attention to me. Honey, when did I not pay attention to you? Well, our child fell sick and I sent you a message and I felt like you were prioritizing your work above our family. Do you understand? So you should also be like, just to buttress what he said, you should also be ready to don't now say wait. I'm trying to say something first. I'm trying to say that you didn't arrange the house. Also just flow along and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, that.
So another thing is the Uni language, which she already mentioned subtly, and it's the fact that when you want to express something that gives you displeasure, instead of pointing the finger at you, in the sense that maybe
pointing finger at
the person and saying you did this,
you left the house so messy,
right? You left the house so messy, you came late, right? You can come from the I standpoint and say, I don't feel very great when you come late, or I don't feel very great
when I have to wait for
you. Or I don't feel very great when
I get home and the house is dirty.
Would you get stuff like that? That helps the person feel like you can put the person's emotions in your place as well.
Yes.
And you're not pointing accusing fingers. Right?
Yes.
So starting from yourself gives a soft landing for
what the confrontation is. So I had an example in my mind right now, but I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just I guess saying and also it helps if you're being vulnerable, so that it doesn't seem like you're just a school teacher that is grading them. So if you say you talked too much, or you didn't pay attention to me at the dinner that we went for, you just kept talking to every single person and you just left me while I was there. Instead, you can say that I felt alone at the dinner that we went for. I felt like I felt like you should have spoken to me more. And it made me feel sad when I saw you talking to everybody but not to me. So that's more vulnerable. It's not like you're even grading them on the scale or whatever. It's just this is how I'm feeling, and this is what you did to make me feel this way, and that's more loving. Yes.
And when you want to practice loving confrontation, you want to have it at the back of your mind that your mate is not out to get you. Right? So that's going to help you receive the confrontation with love.
Yes.
You'll be able to receive it with love and not be defensive already before she actually says what she wants to say, or before I actually say what I want to say.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. To know that this person is not your enemy. So when they start confronting you, whether good or bad, right, it's necessary, as you also when it's bad it's harder. But
true.
when it's good, when it's good or bad, you as the confronted should just start off, because when you start to see the person as an enemy, it just gets worse.
Yeah.
Like it just gets worse. Yes. Everything they say, then you start to listen to it in a bad way. That's where selective listening comes in.
Like the example where the example of the traveling thing, right, where both of us had that issue, right, and after that day now, everything that comes that sounds like America or abroad or another country just puts you on the edge, and is always going to be there if you don't have that confrontational conversation. Right?
Yes.
So remember that your mate is your friend and you want to actually have a good conversation about it. Don't put that, don't mix the behavior and the character.
I remember telling you during the whole what if I get a job abroad phase, I was telling you that, David, if you got a job abroad, I would be first happy for you. I just thought you were I just kept thinking, why are you, I thought you were my enemy, basically. I was just like, this sounds like what an enemy would say, because my first reaction would be, I'm so happy. Before I even talk about, no, you can't take it or whatever, I'm going to be like, God, you're so awesome. You are of international, spice and stuff like that. And it just made me feel sad, basically, I guess.
Yeah, and that was selfish.
Yes. I think people would be interested in how we resolve that.
Oh yeah, so eventually, so this is the thing. At that time, in my mind, because of many of the stories I'd heard about, once somebody travels, that's the end of the relationship or that kind of thing. So immediately I heard that, it registered in my mind as, this relationship might not work because I'm going somewhere else. Do you get? My mind hadn't opened up to the reality that even when something like that happens, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the marriage or the relationship, right? So
yeah, and marriage, as in, there was never a question of you're married and then like we're married and then I leave the family and go and you are still here. No, that was never the question. So first of all, we're talking about if we were dating, would I be, if I got a job abroad, I would take it. Or then we spoke about masters, and then we spoke about what if we had a job. That all this assuming that God says yes.
Exactly.
So if I had a job and both of us were able to go, I think that was also something we spoke about.
So like this happened before we actually spoke about that. Like the reaction in my heart already happened like almost immediately after he mentioned it.
Okay.
Do you get? So that happened, and then thankfully, I thank God actually. God opened up my mind to realizing that it wasn't a bad thing. I think I needed to be worked upon in my head actually, and I thank God that happened. So it got to another point where I actually spoke to her, and I'm like, you know what?
You had an experience where you interacted with.
Yeah, I had an experience where I interacted with a couple who he went for his masters, he came back, their family still together, everything's fine, and that's one of many other things that happened that just helped me to realize that it wasn't a bad thing. And because I was thinking about it in the fact that, I mean, it's easy to think, okay, both of us will get in, but what if it happens that you go and I don't get in?
Yeah.
Right? What's going to happen? Do you get? So like all that negativity was already getting into my mind. So, but thankfully, I got to the point where I was like, you know what, even if that happens, of course, we can still do this. Do you get? So, I got to the point where we had a conversation. I'm like, you know what, if you get a job abroad, amazing. We're going to work it out. However we do it, we're still going to work it out.
And we both then agreed that family comes first. Like especially if we're married.
Always,
so what is a job if both of us cannot be together? So it's different if it's like maybe
a
1 month stint.
Yeah,
so that we can work with. But we just define the boundaries of the kinds of opportunities that we can take. Yes.
And the reason why I think at the beginning that was even one of the things that helped our dating period, because it made us realize that we needed to ask ourselves more questions. Right, and so that was really helpful actually. And so I think that's it basically for this conversation about confrontation. So it can be very difficult, but it's really important and necessary.
You cannot have a relationship without making
a
loving
conflict.
Yes.
You need it really much. You need it really much.
So you can't have a relationship without confrontation, and you can't have a good relationship without loving confrontations.
So make all your confrontations loving.
Yes.
Basically.
Thank you for coming.
God bless you all. Last tip: focus on the facts when conversations like that are happening, so that you don't get carried away
by
emotions. Honestly, it will help you.
Yes, focus on it. In fact, focus on the content rather than the delivery.
Yeah.
While we say that you should deliver well, deliver whatever you're saying well. Exactly. You that you're collecting, focus on content.
So we're helping each other. Imagine I'm saying something rash or I'm saying something right, and she's while I should focus on how I'm saying it, she should also focus on exactly what I'm saying.
Yes.
Do you get, and vice versa.